Earlier this week we filmed a story about P-Labs for tonight's program. And we interviewed Nick McClay at the time, who retired from the police a couple of months ago. He was in charge of the Auckland branch of the Police National Clandestine Laboratory Response Team. And yes, it's his former colleagues who were shot this morning. Nick McClay moved on to a private company offering landlords and prospective home buyers the chance to add another inspection to their list. Believe it or not, a check to see if their house has been used as a meth lab. Claire Sylvester reports.
They're found in every type of suburb, rich and poor. Methamphetamine labs, where toxic chemicals are cooked up to make illegal drugs. Nick McClay knows more than most how dangerous they can be. He's a former detective sergeant. Just a couple of months ago, he was in charge of Auckland's clandestine crime squad team, investigating the manufacture and supply of meth.
Annually in New Zealand, the police get about 200 labs a year, and that's been the case for maybe the last 4 or 5 years. And I was involved in that. That's my background. In all reality, we were just scraping the tip of the iceberg there on the labs that we were discovering.
Nick is now the director of a private company, the New Zealand Drug Detection Agency, which has a new service testing homes for methamphetamine residue, aimed at landlords and prospective home buyers. He says it's something that should be considered along with a limb and building report. If you came into a house like this, are there any immediate signs that meth has been used here or even cooked up here?
Immediate signs could be stuff like paraphernalia, utensils, your pipes, empty point bags, cut-off straws, that sort of stuff. For manufacturing, you might get a solvent smell that's lingering, possibly metallic taste in your mouth if you're in the place long enough, but you could have none of that as well.
And it could still have been used?
It could still have been used. Without
testing, the first sign your rented or bought house used to be a meth lab might be you. Methamphetamine residue hangs around a house for years, so if you find yourself suffering disturbed sleep, irritation to your skin, eyes, nose or throat, or if you suddenly have headaches or nausea, find out who used to live there. Why up there?
It's an area which isn't going to be wiped down on a regular basis, so it's a good place to put it. Also, it's close to a water source and also close to the heat source there, which are both two essential items you need when you're manufacturing methamphetamine.
Nick says meth cooks like to be mobile, so they'll move frequently, leaving contaminated houses in their wake. The police might eventually catch up with them, but they may have no idea where they've lived in the past.
The majority of the properties that the labs are found in by police are more of an often rented. They can be from an old farm shack to an inner city high-rise apartment. We've in fact found them on a 32-foot launch on one occasion. 2 lines which will indicate that there isn't methamphetamine present.
It's negative, but just last week Nick got a positive result at a rental property. The owner, understandably, didn't want any publicity. It's a check property manager, Anna Forbes, says her company will be using.
It is certainly something that has been brought up many times in our company, and that's a surprising thing. I think we're just needing to take a reality check and be proactive about addressing this issue.
Nick's firm charges $250 for the service. Cleaning up a meth-contaminated house can cost anywhere between $200 and $20,000. Is this really a big problem? I mean, this is your business now. You're not just scaremongering?
No, I don't believe I am. It's out there and it's happening, and it's happening in affluent areas and it's happening in not so affluent areas as well. It's right across the board.